What was the Crittenden Compromise before the Civil War? Imagine a country on the edge of splitting apart, with tensions so high that war seems inevitable. That was the situation in late 1860, just after Abraham Lincoln was elected president. Many southern states had already left the Union, and the nation was facing a huge crisis. In this chaos, Kentucky Senator John J. Crittenden decided to try one last effort to keep the country together. He proposed what is now called the Crittenden Compromise. This was a plan to settle the disagreements over slavery and states' rights through constitutional changes. It was meant to be a final attempt to avoid fighting and keep the Union intact. The core idea of Crittenden's plan was to bring back the Missouri Compromise line of 1820, which was at the 36 degrees 30 minutes north latitude. This line had once divided free states from slave states. Crittenden wanted to extend this line all the way to the Pacific Ocean. Under his plan, slavery would be banned north of the line, but protected and allowed south of it. This was a way to satisfy southern states that wanted to keep slavery where it already existed and expand it into new territories. Crittenden proposed 6 constitutional amendments to make his plan work. The first would have made slavery illegal in territories north of the line but protected it south of the line. The second would have required Congress to pay slaveholders compensation if their escaped slaves were rescued in the north. The third protected slavery in the District of Columbia from any interference. The fourth said Congress could not stop the interstate slave trade. The fifth would have made it a crime to help slaves escape or interfere with fugitive slave laws. The sixth was the most important because it made all these protections permanent and unchangeable. It said no future amendment could ever abolish slavery or interfere with it in slave states. At first, many people supported the plan. All Democrats in Congress backed it because they wanted to preserve the Union. Some Republicans, like William Seward, also showed support. Citizens even petitioned Congress to pass the compromise. But not everyone agreed. Radical Republicans, who believed slavery should be abolished, rejected it. They saw any constitutional protection of slavery as a betrayal of the nation's future. They also worried that allowing slavery to expand would hurt free labor and the economy. Despite the initial support, the plan never gained enough votes to pass. It was sent to a special committee and was narrowly defeated in the Senate in March 1861. Crittenden himself left the Senate and went back to Kentucky. His hope was that his plan might save the Union, but it was too late. Within weeks, Confederate forces fired on Fort Sumter, and the Civil War officially started. The failure of the Crittenden Compromise marked the end of attempts at peaceful solutions. It showed how deeply divided the country had become over slavery. The disagreements had become so intense that only military action could settle the conflict. This moment is a reminder of how close the nation was to breaking apart and how the fight over slavery shaped the course of American history.